was interesting, when we got close to one another, and it was just he and I on this aisle, I said the traditional, "Thank you for your service, sir." And this man grabbed my arm, and he pulled me in close to him, and he looked me dead in the face, and he said, "You were worth it, son." And then he just slowly pushed his buggy out of sight. And I will tell you, in that moment, I just had this overflushing glow of peace and joy and comfort and pride. Because I say that to veterans all the time, but I've never gotten that response. Now, this man was fighting overseas, spilling his guts when he couldn't drink from the same water fountain as my grandfather. And he pulled me in and called me his son. You were worth it, son. So I say all that to say, I started thinking, I said, I got to go find this guy. Because he needs more than just that. He needs, for me, I need to let him know what that meant to me. So I walked down the next couple of aisles, nowhere in sight. I backtracked. When you lose your kid in Walmart, you kind of panic. And I was going down those aisles looking for this gentleman, and I never saw him again. And I thought to myself, I just saw an angel at Walmart. Now, what this means to me and what I wanted to tell this man, I wanted to say, if I were you, this is what I would want. I'm sure everyone likes those thank yous. We all do. But I think what his eyes told me was that he wants my civilian actions here to be worth his service there. And that's what I will challenge all of my students with. And when we talk about pack pride and responsibility and being respectful to those, that's what he meant. If you've never spilled blood overseas or fought for our country, guys, we owe them our actions here as civilians. He said, you were worth it. So that means I have to be worth his service to my family, to my children, as school leader to you guys, in every act of what I do from this day till I possibly join him with that big guy upstairs. So for all you veterans, I thank you for what you did. For our current servicemen and women, thank you for what you do. And thank each of you for being angels to our country. God bless you, and thank you very much.
Fine day. Just want to tell you how I came about my military service. I come from a small town in Pennsylvania. I went to a small private school, graduated in 54, class ranking in 53. However, my SAT score was 1080. So what happened was, I was in junior year, an Army Reserve recruiter came up to me and said, "Hey, how would you like to be in the Army Reserve?" I said, "Sure." So I went to basic training right after my junior year in high school. Went to lovely Fort Jackson, South Carolina, in June. And it was hot. So I went to there, came back after our basic training. I went to my senior year in high school with a bald head. Because you shave your head when you go to basic training. There is my senior picture in the yearbook with my bald head. Then afterwards, I graduated high school, went to AIT at Fort Jackson again. I was a light wheel vehicle mechanic. So I did that, went home, and it was a great experience. However, it was only reserves. So I had to find another employment. So I said to myself, ran into the Marine Corps recruiter. He came up to me and said, "How would you like to be a Marine?" I said, "Sounds great." He said, "Do you like hunting and camping? Because your ASVAB score says you do." So he said, "The infantry's for you." And I was like, "That sounds great. Sounds pretty prestige." So I went to the Marine Corps, became an infantryman. It was a big 29-year hunting trip. So I did that. I enjoyed it. Then when I got out, I was a mailman for 2 years. Lynchburg, Virginia, which is called the Hill City, if you didn't know that. So I was walking, it was like a land nav course every day, but I knew where I was going. So it was kind of nice. And then I have 6 kids. We go to the grocery store to do our groceries. We're standing in line to check out. I tell my kids, all right, take a knee, face outward. Some of you all get that as patrolling. So it was nice. And I had to figure something out. I said, you know what, let me try this ROTC game, being a teacher. So I went to a Title I school in Virginia. It was a rough school. And there was fights every day. It was just horrendous. The average income in that area was $24,000 a year. So I did that. And I try to be the best mentor as I possibly can, whether you're in the ROTC program or not. So I feel pretty good about myself. Most of you all are veterans and still on active duty. You all, whether you've been to combat or not, you signed a contract to possibly go to combat. And without a doubt, that's what you did. You signed a blank check for the United States of America saying that you will defend this country. And we all thank you for that. People should be thanking you every day, not just on Monday. Every day they should thank you. Parents, if you have children, I would talk to them. Most of your children probably want to be just like you. So, and the benefits that you would receive is obviously tuition, right? It's $80,000. Health care, dental, see the world, right? The greatest thing about being a veteran afterwards is a lot of veterans struggle on how to fit back into society. It is a struggle. But, because we all do, we at a very young age when you enlist, you were taught to serve. And that's what we did, we served our country. So when you get out, whether you do 4 years, 20 years, 29 years, you've got to find a place in society where you can continue to serve. As Mr. Fuller said, we have 14 teachers that are veterans in this school. It's amazing. Our officer, Officer Gray, he was in the Army. He still wanted to serve. He serves in the capacity as a police officer protecting our children. We have firefighters, doctors, nurses, what have you. So you need to make sure you find your little niche in society. And that's why me and Chief Warrant Officer Boatson decided to serve the students of Greenbrier High School. That's what we do. One final note. I know that we are going through some times, but this is the greatest nation in the world. We're the only country that celebrates our veterans. No other country does. Because we're proud of who you are. And obviously, the United States are going to take care of each and every one of our veterans. I'd like to say thank you for letting me speak. And God bless America.
This is Veterans Day by Cheryl Dyson. On Veterans Day, we honor all who answered to a service call. Soldiers young and soldiers old fought for freedom, brave and bold. Some have lived while others died, and all of them deserve our pride. We're proud of all the soldiers who are thinking of red, white, and blue. They fought for us and all our rights. They fought through many days and nights. And though we may not know each name, we thank all veterans just the same.